Shall we begin?
Hey guys, Thomas Rob here, and today we're giving you 12 tips and tricks on how to get that number one in TABG. Let's jump right in. Tip number one, jump. Jumping makes you a harder target to hit, and therefore decreases the likelihood of you taking that fatal round. Jumping also decreases your accuracy, so it's a balance between making you a harder target, but making the other person harder to hit. Tip number two, never stand still. Standing still while looting is a must in some cases, but it makes you a very, very easy target and decreases your response time. Tip number three, know your weapon. Weapons in this game are widely ranged from medium, close, and far. Some of the weapons seem like they should be able to reach out farther than others, but it's actually the inverse. You need to spend time in the shooting range to get to know each weapon individually, its strengths and weaknesses, and which ones do well with a scope and which ones don't. Tip number four, you don't have to hot jump to get good loot. This is very true. There are a lot of little places all around the map that people just don't go very often. These places provide good loot, and they also provide you the respite that you need to get ready for the last circle. Tip number five, get a car. So cars are a double-edged sword. While they're very important to getting good loot later on in the game, they can give your position away instantly. Tip number six, don't give your cover away unless you have to. This kind of goes along with the last one because cars give your cover away. In the last circle especially, I would say stay away from the car as much as possible because it will give your cover away, and all it will do is explode and make a big smoke cloud and injure you in the process. But needless shooting at nothing or firing at somebody that you see long distance away that you know you'll never hit will only give your cover away, and it may end up costing you the game. Tip number seven, jump in the middle of the circle. This new update has made it so that you can see the circle while the blunderbuss is flying. This is extremely helpful when planning out how you're going to loot in the first two stages of the game. In the looting stage, it is very important if you don't find a vehicle to be inside the circle before it closes. If you land outside the circle and you don't have a vehicle, it may be impossible for you to get inside the circle before the time is called. This will ultimately cost you the game. But landing in the middle of the circle is a safe way to bet that when the next circle is called, you will be inside of it, or at least close enough walking distance that you can make it safely. Tip number 8, mark the middle at all times. Whenever a new circle is called, I pull up my map and I put my marker right in the middle. Unless I'm playing with squads, the marker isn't very useful except for this. When playing with squads, I always designate one person to be the marker man, and he puts his marker right in the middle so that everybody knows exactly where the middle of the circle is at all times. Knowing where the middle of the circle is very, very useful, as we talked about in the last tip. Number 9. Use the wall to your advantage. As long as the wall is closed off, you're safe from that side. It can be very useful in the final circles to use the wall to your advantage. Tip number 10. Loadout types. When looting, you often aren't given a choice what your first weapon will be. And oftentimes it's wise just to grab whatever it is and go on with it. But later on in the game, you will start having to make choices about what guns you pick up and what guns you leave behind. I suggest that you spend a lot of time at the shooting range practicing with different weapons and seeing which ones suit you the best. But what I can tell you is it's best to diversify. If you find a shotgun, you probably don't want to have another shotgun. You probably would like to have a rifle. Also, diversifying what caliber of weapon you have is a good idea too. If you are set upon having two different battle rifles, say a SCAR and an AK, you would probably want to have one of them, which is 7.62, and one of them, which is 5.56. This way, if you find different ammunition, this way you're not using exactly the same ammunition, and you're more likely to find more ammunition later on. I have kind of a sub-tip, so 10.5. Pick up all ammunition you find, even if it is to guns that you don't currently have. If you find later on that you are out of ammunition in, say, 5.56, but you have a lot of 7.62, you can pick up a 7.62 rifle and be back in business in no time. Tip number 11, dual wield. I don't honestly see very many people doing this, but it is extremely useful. Number 2 slot and number 3 slot are the dual wield slots in your inventory. If you find two weapons that are dual wield capable, you can press numpad 0 on your keyboard to enable it. And if you don't have a numpad, go into settings and change it to whatever key you would like. Tip number 12, tree climbing. Most of the trees in this game you can climb, and it is to your advantage to be able to get height. Sometimes it is what gets you the winning shot. I hope you enjoyed these 12 tips for TABG. I will be making more videos like this if this video does well. Let me know in the comments section what you would like to see in future videos. Be sure and like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the little bell icon. Because I have to say that. See you next time.